Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Raptors. This is your host, Ihtisham. This video is primarily about the draft night that happened on Thursday that has a lot of Raptor fans worried. And I'm going to tell you guys exactly why you should not be worried. And the Raptors had the perfect draft night for our future. Before I get into the video, I just wanted to introduce myself to you guys and let you guys know as to why I'm kind of doing this, what you guys can expect from the channel, the type of content you'll be getting. So I became a Raptors fan in early 2000. I came from a country that had no basketball. I had no idea what basketball was. And on this one day, I was watching SportsCenter, and they started running these highlights of guys, running and jumping and, putting the ball in. This what I saw in net. Now I know that's basketball, but at that time I had no idea. And I saw this guy literally jump in the air and then hang on the net, which was Vince Carter, and I was like, holy shit, this guy can fly. And that kind of got me interested in watching basketball, especially the Raptors, being from Toronto, right? So I've been watching them since then. I watched them through the Bosch era, where we were good enough but not good enough to win a championship. Through the era we all like to forget, the EuroLeague Raptors, the one where Bargnani was supposed to be our unicorn and savior. Unicorn fly, that guy couldn't even jump, but he was a Raptor, so you got to respect him. Then the Kyle Lowry and DeRozan era, where we got into the playoffs but kept getting smacked by LeBron in every playoff series. And then I wouldn't call it an era, but these championship saga, which had tears, drama. And then we finally won. We are the champs. We are the North. And honestly, I want to tell the American media to suck it, because they can't seem to accept that we won it fair and square. And now what I believe is going to be the next, era, and I want to share that with you guys. I believe the Raptors fans are one of the greatest fan base in all of basketball. We enjoy talking basketball. And we created Jurassic Park, right? Deer District, my ass. And I love talking basketball, and I have friends, great friends, but they don't talk basketball. And they told me, you got good insights, you do research on this stuff, so you should reach out to people, give your opinion online, and see how it goes. And that's kind of like got me interested in reaching out to people through videos where I can provide analysis, my opinions, and make some friends who can have good conversations about Raptor basketball or just basketball generally. So that's kind of why I started this channel. As you guys can tell, this channel is going to be primarily about the Raptors. It's going to have game analysis. It's going to have insights about where we could be heading, opinions, perspective, research behind all of the stuff that's going to be said. It's going to be unfiltered. I don't have a filter, so there will likely be swearing. I'll also do a few, like every now and then I will be doing NBA content as well, in major news, not news about freaking LeBron going to a WNBA game. I remember FS1 doing like 50 minutes debate over that shit. None of that stuff. Without a further ado, let's get into the video. So let's talk Raptors draft night. We drafted 3 people. I'll get into the 4th pick, the controversial pick. We drafted David Johnson at number 47. He is a point guard, 6'5" point guard who averaged almost 12 points per game, 4 assists, and almost 5 rebounds per game. He's a fierce guard. He can defend. He has a very good sense, if you watch his highlight, of passing the ball. He can get to the rim. A good athlete, right? On the 46th pick, we took Delano Benton, Toronto kid. Really happy for him. 6'9" point guard, average about 9 points per game, 3 assists, 5 to 6 rebounds. Kind of a Chris Boucher build. Again, looks like a hardworking kid. Can run the floor, rebound very well. He's likely going to end up in the G League and develop, and then come, probably make it to the Raptors main roster. And then comes the number 4 pick. again, I'm going in the reverse order, which was Scottie Barnes. Scottie, for people who didn't watch the draft, Scottie Barnes is an animal. He's a 6'9" kid, muscular, averaged 10 points per game, almost coming off the bench. Played the point guard, so he can actually pass the ball very well. Averaged 4 assists per game. Rebounds the ball. A hard worker. He can dive. He does the dirty work for the teams, and built like probably the best built in the whole draft. And the Raptors took him at number 4, where many Raptors fans and media expected Jalen Suggs to go number 4. And I'm going to tell you guys exactly why the Raptors did the right thing. So the first reason why the Raptors did the right thing is, I think after getting the 4th pick, I'm part of this. A lot of Raptor fans forgot about the roster we actually have. We got Freddie VanVleet, right? Why would you select Suggs if you've put in so much work, so much money into making Fred VanVleet your point guard of the future? He's your leader. You can see it from him showing up on draft night, like the lottery draft, whenever they selected, gave us the list of selections. Sorry about that. And then he plays bigger than his height, right? So why would you want to replace him going forward? He can shoot the ball, and I think people have forgotten he carried us against the Bucks in the championship run, and then he made huge shots in the finals. So he's capable of all of that, and he got us that championship. So he's a champion as well, right? And again, American media can suck it because we won it. Then you got Malachi Flynn in the background, right? People have forgotten that he was Mr. Fourth Quarter. For some reason, he sucked for the first 3 quarters most of the time. But then fourth quarter, and he was just like switch went off. And he became, he was making shots. He's assisting the ball, all of that stuff. So he's shown flashes that he can be a starting point, not an all-star, but a starting point guard for a team and actually be effective. So you got 2 point guards already. And then, people were saying, oh, Suggs fits right beside Fred VanVleet. He'll be the perfect replacement for Laurie. Why? Right? You are forgetting about Gary Trent Jr., the guy who came in, the guy who literally opened his arms to Toronto even before getting to Toronto. He wore the Blue Jays jersey. The kid showed you he can put up 30 points. He can put up 40 points. He can put up, great defense. He works hard. His mid-range game is butter. All he needs is some playtime, right? And he's been groomed by Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet. So would you want to? And then the thing is, Masai Ujiri is going to pay him $18 to $20 million this year. So you want to put that guy on the bench? Why? The only reason you traded Norman Powell was because you didn't want to pay him that much, right? And you didn't see him as a starter. Whereas Gary Trent Jr. is a starter. And if you're paying him $20 million, you need him to start and be effective. So it didn't make sense to select, Jalen Suggs. And by selecting the second point why Suggs I don't miss Suggs, is because we selected, I would say, a Walmart Jalen Suggs in David Johnson. He almost averaged almost the same amount of points. He averaged 12 points, whereas Suggs averaged 14 points in his college career. Same amount of assists, same amount of rebound, can defend, athletic, good passer. So we selected that guy, just not at number 4 and just not named Jalen Suggs. So we didn't miss out on anything. If Raptors fans think, oh, we needed a point guard, all of that stuff, we didn't miss out on anything. And the third and the biggest reason why I'm very happy the Raptors did not select Jalen Suggs is because the reports came out. So Brian Windhorst on his podcast said that Jalen Suggs had a very, very bad workout. He even said a horrible workout with the Raptors. And some reporters have said that, inside sources have said that he tanked it on purpose, right? That kind of tells you that Jalen Suggs didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be in Toronto. He didn't want to be part of the Toronto Raptors. And I honestly, once when I looked at the reaction he had on draft night, right, he stood up and he started clapping for Scottie Barnes. He didn't do that for any other pick. Right? Cade Cunningham went number 1. He didn't get up and clap for him. Jalen Green went number 2. He didn't do that for him. Right? That shows you he even though he might have been happy for Scottie Barnes, I believe he was honestly more happy for himself that he didn't have to come to Canada. To me, Jalen Suggs is a great player. He could turn into, an all-star or, superstar, whatever. But he's one of those guys who wants to run his own team and build his brand. And most American players believe that to build their brand, they have to stay in America. And in coming to Toronto, he would have had to, be on the back foot for Fred VanVleet and possibly Gary Trent Jr., who would want to do that, right? So that's why it seems like Jalen Suggs didn't want to be here, and he tanked his workout. So if you tank an interview, you don't deserve that job. So why would the Raptors take him? And that's why exactly why I believe taking Jalen Suggs was the best. Not taking Jalen Suggs was the best idea for the Raptors. Why would you take a guy who's going to leave after 5-6 years? If you want somebody to carry your franchise forward, he's likely going to leave in his prime because he didn't want to be here. Now those were the reasons why not picking Jalen Suggs was a good idea. And now I'm going to tell you guys why picking Scottie Barnes was a great freaking idea. Scottie Barnes is number 1. Kid is a hard worker, right? He in his new interview, he literally came out. He told the media that after draft night, the next morning, he got up and he went into the gym and he started putting the work in. He started shooting, right? He went in, to the weight room, put in the work again. Right? That tells you he's a hard worker. So he fits into the mentality of the Raptors. Raptors are a bunch of workhorses, right? We get into the gym, we do but we're part of the team. So they get into the gym, they do their work, they fix their shots, all of that different type of stuff. And Scottie Barnes is that kid. He fits that, mold of what a Raptor should be. And he's athletically built, right? So that's kind of my point number 2. He is a freak of nature in his physique. He's huge. He can run for his size, right? He can defend on his size. And no matter how much people say that his shot is broken, it's not broken. If you look at him shooting in his college highlights, he's just a step away from guidance. If we can teach Pascal Siakam to shoot, if we can teach OG Anunoby to shoot. And then the funniest one, you can freaking, who this guy is, right? Chris Boucher to shoot. Scottie Barnes is not an issue, bro. Scottie Barnes is a guy who has the mechanical setup to teach him to shoot. And honestly, without even shooting, he's a prototype Giannis. And he's bigger, he's more bulkier than Giannis. Nobody's going to be able to stop him with a wall. So if he develops that jumper, that kid's ceiling is, way higher than Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs is a good player, but his ceiling is not where it should be. Where you would expect a number 4 ceiling to get you, right? Scottie Barnes has a far higher ceiling just based on his physique and his work ethic. So that's kind of the first 2 reasons of why Scottie Barnes is a good fit. The third reason is, again, he wants to be here. And that matters to me as a fan. It might not matter to other people, but it matters very much to me as a fan. If you look at the kid's interviews, he always spoke very well of the Toronto Raptors, right? He put in the work in his workout, in his interviews. He interacted with the coaches. He interacted with everybody. He got to know the culture. He did all those things, right? And then if you look at his draft night video, or his reaction, of how when they announced his name at number 4, again, that could possibly be because he got paid more money. But I don't think that's all there was. He was happy he got selected by the Raptors. He knew he was going to get paid because he was going to go top 5. But he was so happy that he got selected by the Raptors. He was dancing. He was jumping around, right? That tells you he wants to be here. And now if you, like, I saw Instagram videos today of him, interacting with fans and telling them he loves them, right? He loves being here. He wants to be part of the whole diverse culture of Toronto, Canada, and all of that stuff. So that tells you this kid is going to be committed to the Toronto Raptors going forward. So that increases your chance of re-signing him after your, the extension and all of that stuff. So, and then if he develops a shot, he's likely going to be a franchise player because his ceiling is just that high. And then the last reason why I think it was again, I think Rachel Nichols picked this up, but why Scottie Barnes was picked was Masai's, background workings, I would call it. I don't know a better word for it, but it was to light a fire under Pascal Siakam's ass. I love Pascal, right? On the court, he is a good player. He's just had some 2 bad years, but I think after the championship run, I've seen his mentality decline, and that's for me, that is one of the biggest issues with that I have with any player. After the championship era, it seems like he has become more egoistic. You can watch it from his interviews. He leans back. He's rude to the reporters. He even fought with Nick Nurse. He's a 5th-year player, bro. Why Laurie even doesn't do that? Right? Why would you fight? He's getting ejected from games for walking away, all of that, getting suspended. That shows you Siakam's mind is going somewhere else. So unless he fixes it, you need to find a replacement for him. And honestly, Scottie Barnes has a higher ceiling, and he's going to be a better replacement for Siakam. So that is kind of a message from Masai Ujiri to Pascal Siakam: get your shit together or you're gone. Now, it might just be that, they want to build, Masai is trying to build a taller team, right? He's getting OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., Freddie VanVleet plays bigger than his size, so nobody can say he's tiny. Siakam, just a bunch of towers that, that can defend and that can run the floor, to be more effective in today's NBA. But again, for me, I believe it's just to light a fire under Siakam's ass and give him a last opportunity to prove himself. Now, if a good offer shows up for Siakam before the season, I think Masai is going to move on from Pascal. And if he doesn't move on, I think he's going to give him an opportunity during the season to prove himself. And if he doesn't, you have a replacement. If you would have selected Jalen Suggs, you don't have that replacement because you're not looking to replace Gary Trent or you're not looking to replace Freddie VanVleet. They're both like Fred. People think he's old just because of the way he talks. He's only, I think, 27, 28, and then Gary Trent is only 22, and he hasn't even broken the shell. He's gonna be nuts. Mark my words. So that's kind of why I think Scottie Barnes. The fourth reason why I think Scottie Barnes was kind of selected by Masai Ujiri, and it also gives him ability to get rid of that $30 million rock on top of the Raptors at this time that is going to be Siakam's salary. So it's just a preemptive move by Masai to ensure that he has a backup. I'm hoping what I've told you guys is kind of settle some nerves, because Scottie Barnes is going to be a very good player. He's not going to be a role player. He is going to be a star. And I would put money on that. So that's all I have for the video for you guys at this time. I will be coming up with a video next week. The next few days about free agency, salary cap. I'll explain that to you guys in detail and all of that stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed my content and my video, and please hit that like and subscribe button. I hope everybody stays safe, and just keep talking Raptors, man. This is entertainment. This is fun, and I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.